The 3 days of darkness, the feelingness. Dear brothers, it was with great joy that we have came through this channel to complete the missing information so that you understand what is happening at the planetary transition level and the so-called 3 days of darkness. This information that we will transmit to you are essential light codes to share and spread. They are a kind of antidote to neutralize insecurity and the energy of fear, which are generated by so many erroneous assumptions about the 3 days of darkness. Errors that cause the vast majority a certain panic, which in turn pursues denser energies that is not good. So let's clarify what those days will be like and why they are necessary, so that instead of fear you wake up, you have a clearer vision of this period that will forever change the course of life on your planet. We know that many of you have been wondering about this topic. 156 million years ago, and not 320,000 years ago. As something, a new species was being created. The human species, the original human who lived on Earth for a long time. Each Earth has portals for various parts of the universe, for Sirius, Arcturus, Andromeda, Pleiades, Orion, among many others, making it easy for various civilizations to access the planet Agartha, as this planet was called until the times of Lemuria. And Atlantis, which is after the fall of these two civilizations, was renamed Gaia for future civilizations and is now called Planet Earth. However, for us the original name of your planet is still Agartha, because it has such an easily accessible location for various other civilizations in the universe. Agartha was chosen so that we could create a new species, a species that could freely enter other dimensions and visit other spheres through interdimensional portals. That is to say, your body was like a type of vehicle, capable of using these portals without the need for any other vehicle or conditions. Among the geneticists, scientists, and other specialists who were working on the development of this perfect species, there were also the draconians who intended to remove the species from the source, reducing their connection to the central sunlight, which was already relatively distant, for knowing how the species would develop, since if they were always connected, they would have no way of knowing how the species would behave far from the source, or what would happen if they traveled far beyond the central sun, and if they were lost or disconnected from the source. At first, it seemed like a good idea for the board. They also hypothesized that a species was evolved and created after so much work. Technology and energy invested would need more security. since they did not know what awaited them in the infinite that is the universe. So the plan was to create even greater protection, also preventing from being possible to enter the planet, except that this protection would also prevent from being possible to live it. We realized that this could be something irreversible. If we all got caught up in this orb, we tried to reverse the situation in the council, but the Dracos realized they had acquired greater power over this quadrant. So they demanded everyone follow their suggestions, because they believed that due to the fact that they had superior war power and greater control over creation through their technologies that were developed with the help of all of us, they deserved a prominent position in the council. Clear advice: I would never agree to that. Something similar would promote millions of years after the fall of Atlantis and Lemuria. Those who were under the veils of protection that were being created then decided to leave before it was too late, but others remained, as in the case of 12 consciousness that sacrificed themselves to stay alive in the heart of each being. Human unconditional love of the source, because in this way, no matter how much the connection with the cosmos was completely cut off, the flame of love would be lit in their hearts. This conscience gave rise to the 12 crystal skulls. 66 million years ago, the Archons also reversed Agartha's magnetic poles, because they knew that in this way Agartha would become denser. Since everything that rotates counterclockwise generates density, and everything that rotates clockwise is more subtle. Agartha is currently rotating in opposition to the natural flow of the entire cosmos. So seashells, plants, and everything in the universe are spiraling clockwise. To maintain this inverted position, the moon was strategically positioned, always turning to the same side, so that the modifications made by them were maintained. Therefore, they were sure that the Earth would not return to her normal axis. But they made all these changes suddenly. It was what caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. After that episode, Agartha had other restarts, one of which caused the deluge that was deliberately caused by this non-light species trying to control the planet and cause global catastrophes. Or the moon hit the ocean. The waters of the ocean rose, thus covering the entire planet. Even today, it is possible to see the signs of the shock and the displacement of water at the top of the hills in Portugal, in Africa, and also on the surface of the planet, where was previously the ocean, indigo. With this impact, the hills of the Himalayas, the highest mountain range on the planet, located between the plain, the South, and the Tibetan Plateau, were formed. In the depths of the ocean, biological sediments are made up of shells of few types of planktonic organisms, a type of sedimentary rock of biological origin, made entirely of shell fragments. With the impact of the moon, these shells were transferred to the top of the mountains, forming yellowish calcium rocks. The reversal of Earth's magnetic poles to the original position began in 2009. In 2013, a gigantic meteorite was on a collision course with Earth and would cause a massive global catalysm. The meteorite would in turn disintegrate by the galactic fleet, hitting only a small part of Earth in Russia, where only a few people were injured, but there was no death. Earth was already been aligned by fleets, so it slowly returns the right without the major catastrophe or the extinction of the human species. If Earth's pole were suddenly reversed, it would again cause destruction through major earthquakes and tidal waves. 2 gigantic spaceships have been positioned and approaching since 2009. What are Azimuth, the ship of Archangel Michael, and the Athena ship of the Arcturians? These spaceships are made up of consciousness, and within them there are still other consciousness. Humans in their original form, using 100% of their brain capacity, can take whatever shape they want. These beings, as in the case of Archangel Michael, can become aware and design a ship. So, Azimuth is consciousness by Archangel Michael. The Earth has a gravitational force, just like the moon that was positioned so that through these interactions between the gravitational forces, the Earth would remain in the counterclockwise position where the archons placed it. So in order for the Earth to return to its original position, the action of the other gravitational forces is necessary. The ships are interfering with the rotation of the Earth. And as these 2 ships get closer, the Earth will slow down until it comes to a complete stop. After completing this process, these spacecraft will slowly drift away, so that the Earth will slowly rotate clockwise again, therefore without much movement. Each is placed at one end of Earth's magnetic poles, slowing down the planet's rotation until it stops spinning completely. In the final moments of this intervention, one of the ships will be placed in front of the sun, where it will also stop and begin to move away slowly, so that the Earth turns again clockwise. This journey will take 3 days, causing the 3 days of darkness. This is the time that will take for the ship to make the journey, staying between the sun and Earth and returning the same way it entered. the electrical, electronic devices, and everything that contains electricity, electromagnetism, will stop working due to the approach of these ships. A few days before all beings on planet Earth will hear a signal that will warn them of what will happen. A last call from Mother Mary, who will speak an ear for all her sons and daughters, who will remain without a doubt, especially the awakened ones who will clearly understand the sign. On that day, all human and non-human beings, every being with a brain, be it human or animal, will freeze along the planet Earth and only return to their mortal activities after the Earth begins to spin again in clockwise. On that day, everyone will be aware of everything that happens around them, but they will not be able to move. This may be scary, but there is nothing to fear, because when the Earth rotates to her original direction, you will return to all your abilities and motor coordination. When your bodies and the Earth are paralyzed, all the dimensions parallel to the third dimensions will interact. There will be no difference between the living and the dead. It will be possible to see all the dimensions. At the time of this transition, you will make a brief transition to fourth dimension, and when Agartha returns to its original axis, you will be in the fifth dimension. The third dimension will cease to exist, as it's a denser dimension, a density that was deliberately generated by the change in Earth's rotation. After 3 days of darkness, you will have contact with all beings that have already in the fifth dimension, and the Earth will be on her original axis, fully connected to the essential sunlight. That will be the cause of the 3 days of darkness. Have confidence, love. The time to practice meditation, inner peace, unconditional love is now, because this way you will move smoothly to the transition point. Without fear, just trusting that everything will be fine and that is necessary, so that everything returns to the planned source. In these 3 days, do not open the door of your houses. Keep all windows and doors closed, and do not allow anyone in your family to leave the house, because their bodies can be paralyzed at any time. Take the necessary precautions to make them feel comfortable in your home at the time. Planes can fall, traffic accidents can occur, among other things can caused by physical paralysis. When that happens, you will know what is happening. You and your loved ones will also count on the help of your cosmic families, soul families, mentors, and guides, who at this moment will be much closer to you due to the crossing of dimensions, even those who are not awake. Your pets will also be paralyzed. However, they will make a very natural transition. because they have never disconnected from Agartha. Beings that are still vibrating with hatred, pain, fear, that are vibrating in a very low frequency pattern, or still very attached to limiting beliefs, will not make the transition in the physical body. These bodies will cease to exist along with the third dimension and their souls. They will pass to other orbs that are compatible with their vibratory frequency. There is no space or time for the spirit, so when one dreams, he is simply somewhere else without having to travel a path. It will be like a dream for these people. They will wake up in another orb so that they can continue their cycle of evolution. The moment you are paralyzed, do not open the door of your heart to doubts in any way. Keep the faith to the end, especially as you go through this moment of transition. Trust in divine wisdom. Do not lower your vibrations. Everything that still vibrates in the third dimension will cease to exist. In Agartha will only incarnate souls and beings that already vibrate in the fifth dimension, and those who go through the transition will have the option to continue for a while, and then they will have the option to continue with their original family, their original orb, or to follow their evolutionary processes where they choose, because the source determined it. At the time of transition, it becomes difficult to stay focused and focus on the higher vibrations. Repeat this mantra: I am light, I am free, I am one with Source, so that you can dispel any low vibration feelings that maybe are bothering you. No matter what you say, use that time to work on your own. Always stay safe and vibrant. Everything will be fine. After this information, there is more to come.